How exciting it's been waiting for X and Y. While everyone else is in the post-game and I'm sitting here with an incomplete badge set, I've been looking up stuff about a few of the new Pokémon. I don't mind most of them, but there's a few that stand out in the wrong way. It's hard to talk about a certain Pokémon without mentioning its evolutions, so my judgment on some of these Pokémon will be based on how they compare to their past and future selves. So now, I'm beginning the top 10 worst Kalos Pokémon, in my opinion. You know how many pointless water types there are out there. So when you first saw Inkay and Malamar, I bet you thought to yourself, screw them. But don't worry, they're dark and psychic types, which makes sense because they're squids. I don't get it. Inkay's line is only number 10 because I'll give it this. It sounds like it does a great job in battle, with a signature move that reverses all the stat changes of your opponent. And dark and psychic is a type combo I've always wanted, just not on these guys. Plus it has a classic method of evolution. Oh cool, it got to level 30! Huh. I wonder what Inkay looks like upside down. I wish I didn't figure that out. But Malamar in general is plain weird. The fact that it's upside down makes it look odd, coupled with its hair. It's just unsettling to look at. Rather than talking about the stupidity of everyone who hates all multi-headed Pokémon, I'll just say that I don't mind most multi-headed Pokémon. Especially that beast of a dark dragon type named Hydreigon. But if it's Binacle, then it's Binacle. Binacle is Binacle. It's very Binacle. Two hands with faces stuck in a rock is pretty weird, and I'll admit that's one reason it's on the list. Barbaracle is still not my type. Once again, being body parts stuck together, it just doesn't work in my opinion.
But if its hands have eyes, then why isn't it a psychic type?
Actually, it's probably water because it's a barnacle, and rock because it has rock underwear. Maybe when Zygarde gets his time to shine, we'll have Pokémon with 3 types! Gen 5 had a lot of great things about it, despite being easily the most hated generation by far. Somehow Gen 6 is less hated, which probably means it didn't bring back much from Gen 5. However, it did bring back some things, like the fact that a certain Pokémon desperate for evolution doesn't evolve into a Pokémon that looks totally like an evolution for it. Luptisc and Alomomola meet Carbink and Diancie. Why not have Diancie be Carbink's evolution? Carbink isn't exactly the greatest Gen 6 Pokémon out there. It looks kinda cute but weird at the same time. It's a small fry that doesn't have the greatest stats and move pool, and it must have broke off of Registeel since they both lived underground for 100 million years. Also, don't ask about the whole rock and fairy typing. Going back to Diancie, it's a rock and fairy type. It looks related to Carbink, and again, Carbink needs an evolution. I know Diancie is supposed to be a legendary, but that makes things even more ridiculous. If it's legendary, entirely different from another non-legend, then why is it so similar? I don't know, maybe Diancie is the mythical leader of the Carbink or something like that. We're back with the results. I'm sorry to say that your pet iceberg has had its back sliced perfectly in half. Golem's icy cousin Avalugg makes no sense. It could have had spikes of ice on top or something, but it's just flat for no reason. When the sprite had been too big, even Bergmite has spikes, but that thing to me is just so meh it barely exists. I also heard that Avalugg has horrible special stats and speed. For the final gym leader's final Pokémon in Kalos, why must it suck? Think about it. Giovanni's Rhydon, Claire's Kingdra, Wallace's Milotic, Volkner's Luxray, Drayden's Haxorus, Wolfric's Avalugg. Overall, I really don't recommend an Avalugg for your team. Unappealing stats and appearance don't do justice for me. I hate spoiled brats. And poodles are spoiled brats. Look at them with their fluffy boutique hair and the way they strut around Paris. I could care less about a poodle Pokemon in reality. Sure, Furfro's hair can be cut into different styles, some of which are cool, like the Egyptian theme, but do you know how most people react when they find out about a non-evolving, plain normal type? If it were me, I'd have its type change based on its haircut, but instead you get it for just 3 days and the trial expires. Or if you want to quickly end it, just put it in your PC. It's fast and easy. One of the problems with Y version is that a few of its exclusive Pokemon aren't exactly as likable. As an example, I give you Perfume. Spritzy's not so bad. I mean, it being a flying bottle of perfume is a bit weird, and not exactly the first thing I'd use a Pokemon for, but I still kind of like its design. Some people actually had a lot going for its evolution, so you'd think Game Freak would pull off something special. Instead, I bring you Aromatisse. That basically sums it up. Fairy, I don't get it. And its smell is so powerful, most people can't even walk next to it. Who wants a Pokemon you can't even get close to? Right next to number 5, we have the X equivalent. So I guess the one in Y is better, which disproves my theory. Who cares? Number 4 is Cotton Candy! Oh lord, this should be a fun ride. Remember Vanillite and how much it was hated? Cotton Candy I guarantee won't be much better. All Swirlix haters, come hither. This doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's where all the haters went. Look at Slurpuff, look at its gross. It's a large cupcake that was pretty poorly made. Can this thing even walk? If you ask me, I'd say it belongs on Sprout rather than Pokemon. I'm Slurpuff. Let's make some yummy yummies for your tummy tummy. It's what everyone has always asked for. A flower version of the Timberline. And at the end, it evolves into King Crocus II. Rather than commenting on how it's a flower, so it being a fairy type makes no sense, I'll just say this. If you hold on to a flower for defense and have it stick with you for life, this'll probably happen at some point. Oh, it can be different colors. Great. It's like I don't care. Shiny form do similar. Besides, that would be too confusing at this point. After enough convincing that it doesn't need a flower, it tosses it away. But then the flower gets payback like Banette and merges itself with Floette's body. Creepiest Pokemon ever. Not needing this thing in a dark alley. Except Florges is ugly. Really, it does not look appealing whatsoever. It's supposed to, yes, but there's something about the extremely skinny body and the eyes that just turn me off. Beautiful. Even as I will, I am beautiful. Okay, fellow Game Freak employees, in this container, we are going to find out what would be the 666 Pokemon. Should it be Trevenant or Esper? Nope, Vivillon. A Pokemon that I honestly find much creepier than the first two I mentioned. I don't trust this thing. I don't trust its eyes. I don't trust the fact that it's a butterfly, and I don't trust it for sucking so much since it's related to Butterfree and Beautifly. Scatterbug's okay, and Spewpa's kind of weird, but I can deal with it. So, Vivillon has many different forms, eh? And they represent different locations in the world? Unlike Flabebe's forms, I have to say they're actually pretty cool. But there's 18 forms, and 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. Let's just hope those other rumored forms are out there so the number changes. So how's about a recap? Okay. Number 10, Suction Squid. Number 9, the Ugly Binacle. Number 8, Why You No Evolve. Number 7, Sliced Ice. Number 6, I look like an idiot chasing this thing. Number 5, Keeping My Poker Face. Number 4, Can You Slurp Slurpuff? Number 3, Gets weirder every time you look at it. And number 2, I don't feel so comfortable. Let's do another previous gen review, shall we? Rattata and Raticate, Sentry and Furret, Zigzagoon and Linoon, Bidoof and Bibarel, Patrat and Watchog. Now that I think about it, each gen slowly got better in terms of first round 2-stage normal types. Then X and Y are released, and Bunnelby and Diggersby. This just might be the worst pair yet. Bunnelby seems to be one of those things that most people think is adorable, but I think is just plain ugly. Buck teeth? No. What exactly is justifying about Bunnelby? Its ears resemble shuffles, which it uses for digging. Great. If you've got a pet Bunnelby, you just might get in trouble because it likes to dig.
Son, why'd you let the ribbon take up the whole yard? But, it wasn't even the whole yard. Go sit in the corner. Oh.
And at level 20, it gets massive puberty, grows dirt that is now part of its body, shuts its eyes forever, and the ears become arms that look dumb, and I don't get it. Diggersby though, its stats are still bad like its move pool. Doesn't deserve to appear in such a cool looking place. Once it digs that crater in your backyard, it falls fast asleep. Snorlax. Out of all the Pokemon in Gen 6, Bunnelby and Diggersby are the only two I actually dislike, despite this being a top 10 list. I'm Lightning Manectric, and if you live in Kalos, make sure your yard is nice and safe.